Welcome back to the GFG Podcast. Today we're talking about what makes an it girl. We're also talking about Zendaya's career, reality TV shows, celebrity culture, and if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, stick around. Thank you again for listening. If you like what you've heard so far, then please give us a like, 5 stars, wherever you listen to podcasts, and enjoy the episode.
So the reason I want to talk about Zendaya is because there's been like some speculation about how the industry is really trying to push her as the next fashion girl, and some people are saying that like she doesn't have a style of her own, and like maybe I'd agree with some of that, but I wanted to know what you guys think because I have like a very specific opinion. And also at the end, is she an it girl? Can she be a fashion it girl if she's manufactured to this degree and if her style is so carefully curated by the same stylist? Okay, go.
No shade to her, love her, but no.
She's done.
She is too beautiful.
What?
She is too
But we've had so many beautiful it girls.
different type of beautiful required of an it girl. Let's think of some legendary, some veteran it girls.
But there's
Chloe Sevigny
yes.
always was a little like weird
But that's
looking.
a more recent.
See, I feel like Chloe Sevigny is a very like
conventionally
typical,
attractive.
Yeah.
But it's almost like in.
But she's not like beautiful.
I
Like
would- yeah, I wouldn't
always.
say she's, like-
She's very pretty. She's always been very pretty, very cool.
She's kind of like the girl next door type,
Yeah.
pretty.
Yeah.
Which now I actually think as she's aged, she looks cooler.
Yeah.
I feel like when she was younger, she was just kind of giving like
More plain. Yeah.
Yeah, but like that was subversive for the time, and I think
Yeah.
she came up in like obviously like the '90s where
Yeah.
being
Yeah.
like almost too normal was like cool.
Yeah.
But models are it girls all the time.
Okay, but the thing,
Like-
I mean, also, I think that I mean a specific type of beauty and personality with Zendaya. I think where it's a little bit too clean. And
To be an it girl?
Yeah.
It's a little too commercial to be an it girl, I think.
Clean, commercial, and then also just like I think that there needs to be a bit of imperfection and in a way messiness that I've never seen from her in order for people to really connect with it. I mean, Hunter Schafer already kind of is that.
She's been that, yeah.
Has been that. And like Zendaya has like the Bulgari thing, I believe. Like I think she has like a partnership
I think
with
she honestly
them.
just has contractual agreements where she just can't be messy.
Yeah,
agree.
yeah.
Like, I also just think we're in this weird time where like it girl status can't be manufactured at all, really, I feel, because so many celebrities are so manufactured, like because they have stylists for all the time. The like it girls are more like social media, like TikTok people who are openly messy, or like I think of Garrett or like Alex
Everyone in the
Consani.
360 video.
Literally everyone in the
Yeah.
360 video. But it's like they've been so publicly messy online, or not even. Well, Garrett, I wouldn't call her messy. She's been pretty.
No, but
she's been
she has
pretty
an edge.
like meh. But she's edgy.
Yeah.
She has this very like edgy look, where even the more conventional ones, they kind of have to be a little bit messy and silly and goofy to like get to that point where like they're an it girl, but I think they're still very manufactured because they don't always have this like insane. I do think Alex Consani is one where like she's kind of kept this consistent like personal style where you kind of like know what she's gonna wear, what she's gonna look like, what she's gonna do. And I don't think that's a bad thing. To talk about Zendaya though, I think it's actually funny that you're saying that she's never been like messy, because I mean she's never been personally messy, and I just don't think that's like her. I don't think she would be personally messy.
Yeah.
But I think it's funny because her first like breakout role was like arguably one of like the messiest like current people in Euphoria, like a drug addict. But I think it's like different because you can see that like that's not her.
But when I thought about it, like if we looked at it girls from like the 60s and the 70s, like think Twiggy or someone huge.
Then Twiggy was manufactured in a way by Justin de Villeneuve, and it wasn't a natural thing. She didn't grow out of something. She seemed to be made overnight.
Yeah.
one of those like, classy 60s actresses or whatever, they were kind of pushed on people in a way.
Oh,
like,
for sure.
Yeah.
And so I think Zendaya is being pushed in a similar way. For some people, we kind of don't have a choice. Like, I think she is an it girl because at this point, she kind of has to be. She's too big not to be, in a way.
Too big to fail.
One could say
Yeah.
that like the Kardashians are it girls, like Kylie Jenner is like an it girl to so many people.
Right, exactly.
But that's not to like me. Like,
Yeah.
she has no influence over my life.
Yeah, that was my point too.
But I also do think that Zendaya actually does have decent personal style, which we don't see much.
Yeah, I don't know what her personal style is.
But when I see her outside of like being heavily styled, I'm like, oh, she looks good. She's been consistent. Like she wears pretty casual like stuff, but when you see her in very like casual, her like everyday stuff, she has a pretty consistent style, and she always has. But I think that's also me knowing her from being like younger too. But I don't really see much difference from like how she's always dressed.
But is it memorable, her personal style?
No, but I don't think it needs to be.
Yeah.
That's also my opinion. Is
I mean, neither is
she's
like
not,
a
she's
lot
not
of
going to be an influencer.
Yeah.
That's true.
Her job is not to be an influencer. I think
Yes.
I feel like, and I don't know if she's necessarily said it, but from what I gather is that she's not interested in being influential. She's interested in doing her job.
Yeah.
Like, and like to do her job, she also has to sell the movie.
Yeah.
And to sell the movie, she has to method dress. I don't feel like there's much of like a parasocial relationship with Zendaya. I don't hear people being like, oh, like people talk about Rihanna in that way and like
Yeah,
it's
they
very
do.
parasocial, but I really don't feel like anybody talks about Zendaya in that way.
Yeah.
It's just a very like Zendaya's good at what she does.
I mean, because
talk
she's
about her
always been
style.
about it. Like, she's always been very professional and, like,
And she's always been very
strict,
private.
yeah. I feel like the relationship she's in now is probably the most public one. She's really still private about it.
She's so private about it.
I think it's interesting that you said that, like, we can't control who becomes an it girl, because I do agree with Fumi that, like on some level I agree that most it girls were manufactured. Most, if not all, was something manufactured. And so to say now, oh, I don't think we can predict it. I wouldn't say I disagree with it, but I do think that the very notion of an it girl is an aspirational female product and, created as a marketing tool to sell things to young girls and women.
Real.
And it makes a lot of money, and it really doesn't have anything to do with the person. Like, whoever is there that fits the shoes, it's gonna be it. That's gonna, like, make a bunch of money.
This is what Julia Fox had to say on a recent episode of Popcast.
A role model type
I
thing?
always kind of like just thought of myself more as like an anti-it girl. I'm very like low-key anti-establishment, and I don't like those like terms that can be coined and just like used to sell something. But still an it girl nonetheless.
Right.
To go back to like Chloe Sevigny, like when I think of her, like to me she feels like a more natural, like it
Organic?
girl. Yeah, it's like an
Yeah.
organic because she was just like on the block.
Yeah.
You know, like she just like did stuff and was cool, so people were drawn to her.
People,
But
like,
that helped her
years
get in
ago,
the places.
people would just, like, see her around. And people still
Yeah.
do.
I saw her in Trader Joe's.
Like, normal-ass people would be like, oh, yeah, I was at the club, like, Chloe
Yeah.
Sevigny. Like, you know what I
Well,
mean?
I
Like,
just
this
think
really
like,
normal.
I think honestly social media has really changed our perspective of it girls, because it girls kind of just used to be like people just were drawn to them, and yes, they did projects and they did things. Like Chloe Sevigny's been in a lot of different stuff, but before she was in those things, people were drawn to her, and that's the reason why she got stuff, is because people were drawn to her. Like her first
Yeah.
projects were not because she was like auditioning and
Yeah.
out and about, and everyone was like, oh, we need to push her as an it girl. It was like
Yeah.
she was cool, so people knew her, so she had the connections, and
Yeah.
then moved from there. And
So maybe there's
people
two
kept being
categories
drawn from that.
of it girls. Maybe there's the manufactured it girl, and I think there's
Yeah.
the more organic it girl. And I think Zendaya falls into manufactured it girl, but it still means
Yeah.
that she's an it girl in my mind.
I think that Zendaya, the problem is that the thing about the it girl that works as a tactic, both for the parasocial thing and for the marketing, is that it's aspirational. And what you said earlier when you were talking about, like, a lot of people look up to her, you know, she has a good image, she carries herself well. I think she's inspirational. I think she is inspirational.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I do not think she is aspirational. Because for something to be aspirational, it has to be conceivably within reach.
Yeah, like realistic to your life.
Yeah, like there has to be some level of delusion that you can entertain where you're like, oh, I could sort of emulate that.
Yeah.
And I don't think anyone is really under that delusion with Zendaya because, like I said, she's so professional, she's so competent, she's so beautiful, she seems almost untouchable, and there's not enough cracks for that to be aspirational. It's a great example, but people don't connect with that, I think, long term. And like, yes, it can be manufactured to an extent and it can be pushed on us, but in the long run, like, it won't have that impact in terms of culture or whatever as if it were the more, like, say, organic kind.
After you said that, I am now going back to my original opinion. I think that's what makes an it girl is if they're aspirational and somewhat attainable to the everyday woman.
Like some aspect of it.
Yeah,
some aspect
you're
of it
completely
has to
right.
be where you could, like, you don't ever think you're really gonna become Chloe Sevigny.
Me
I
either.
could shop at Trader Joe's. I could go to her closet sale.
Her style,
Okay,
yeah.
but let's okay, sorry. To bring up the Trader Joe's thing, I am delusional a little bit because the last time I was at that Trader Joe's, I was like, oh, wouldn't it be crazy if I saw Chloe again? And then I was like, no,
Did you
bitch.
see her again?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
No, but I was like, that's my delusion with that, is because I'm like, oh, she's a New York girl on the scene. She looked great at the Met Gala. I loved her look.
Oh yeah, Delara.
But anyways, I do agree with you that, like, Zendaya is kind of this almost perfected vision of something, but I personally don't think that's bad. I think.
But we're saying it's not whether it's good or bad.
Yeah.
It's whether or not she's an it girl.
No, yeah, I don't necessarily think she's an it girl. I think it girl is something that you have to be on the ground. She's not on the ground.
Yeah.
Well, like, do you
She's
think
not-
Beyonce is an it girl?
Nope.
No.
That's
But fucking Beyonce.
It's so true.
Yeah. No.
Like,
I think,
it's not an insult. It's not a dig.
Yeah,
it's like,
that's why I think, like, some
But she
people,
transcends. I know what you
some
mean.
people can kind of consider, but I think with, like, when I brought up Kylie Jenner, I think the ground that Kylie Jenner is on is, like,
Her Snapchat
social
era.
media. Literally, I was gonna say, like, she was like, you couldn't actually interact with her, but you felt like you could interact with her.
I feel like people felt like they grew up with her.
Yeah, and that was kind of like, she was on the ground. She was not. She was in her mansion. Like, you know, like, she wasn't, but she was a little bit more aspirational because you could see her life. You could see there was a hyper visibility with her life. Mm-hmm. And Zendaya's not that way. She used to be a little bit more, like, around. She's so private that, like, when she shares things, it's about her work. And that's where I think is, like, I think it's good that celebrities are like, let me just do my job. I don't think that Zendaya really wants to be, like, a celebrity. I think she wants to be good at what she does, and I think that that's gotten her in the place where she is. And I'm like, I don't know. To me, I'm just like,
I think
she's great.
I think Zendaya wants to be like the Halle Berry of her generation, which is, like, you know, amazing actress, got the roles, did the parts.
Yeah.
Also, I feel like very, you know, kind of in a way private. Like, I don't really know anything about her now. Like,
Yeah. I just think it's like, I don't know. I think it's good, especially when we have so many celebrities pushed on us, like, in every aspect of our life, where it's not that they're just in the movies, they're not in advertisements everywhere. It's like, they're all over our social media, they're all over publications, they're all over this. And I think, like, the Zendaya it girl thing is, I don't really think it's necessarily them trying to push it. Like,
I mean, it's not.
It's everything
it's
is a
definitely
trend
not
to these.
her in law. It's like, if anything, like,
I think
the
they want to make a
Dune,
moment.
The movies,
Dune
yeah.
production company,
Yeah.
like, they're the
Publicists
ones.
and
because they have
Yeah.
to sell a movie, and I think
Yeah.
she's good at selling a movie. I think she's good at selling a movie as selling a show, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't think she's trying to do much else with her life other than that. Like,
And she needs to
Yeah.
sell a movie. It's like if she's so famous and interesting and successful that she can sell a movie, then that makes her more valuable as an actress.
She's an asset.
But yeah,
she's-
exactly.
I think she
because
sees
they can
herself.
do these $1 million movies
Yeah.
and they'll be fine even if it's dog shit because people are gonna go see it for it's
I just think
yeah.
she understands. I really do think that she and Law understand their position very well, and I think, I don't know. I'm not saying I see through it. Like, I don't think it's a bad thing to see through, but I think they understand, like, she is working so these movies can work so she can get more work and make money.
they're playing the system basically.
They're playing
Yeah.
the system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
it's-
Law definitely understands. I think I don't know about her. Like I think she does now, but I think when she started working with him, maybe not so much. And
Yeah.
I think
'Cause
that he's definitely
she was his
influenced
first
her.
client.
What?
He was not a stylist before her.
I didn't know that.
Wasn't she 13 when they met?
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been.
I thought he was like an up and coming stylist, and she was like, "We're gonna come up together." I didn't think that he
Who
was
else
like not
has
a
he
stylist.
styled?
He's currently styling
Anya Taylor-Joy.
Celine Dion. He like owned like a vintage store.
He's
like
built her, but also his.
yeah.
That's crazy.
They're kind of doing it together and like kind of learning and growing together. So that's why I don't know.
Just like us, you guys.
Y'all, we're like Roach and Zendaya. We're gonna be in their position in like 10 years. No, like I think it's interesting because I really like a lot of people want to criticize it as if it's like a bad thing or like moralize it really. I don't necessarily think it's a good or bad thing, but I think like especially when we have celebrities everywhere in our lives and like even with like it girls, sometimes I'm like, like these people are messy and it's like what are we actually gaining out of these people except for like a pretty person?
Honestly, I think it's hope. I think people look to celebrities for like hope and aspiration. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I'm just like, I don't see it. Like,
I don't know if
for
it's
me,
hope.
but I think that's because I'm like, what do you hope for? Like a check?
No, I mean,
I-
like, some people will say, like, I want to be, like, the next whatever.
Yeah.
And
I guess it
so, like, when you're in,
also-
like, a really bad place, like, celebrities are a form of escapism,
I do
Why are you
agree with the
laughing?
escapism
Not
bit.
you, sorry.
Like
Something
for
completely-
sure,
Escapism,
escapism.
Yeah.
Don't know about if that's a hope thing. I think it's more like self-hatred, shame thing. Like, why can't I do this?
Well, some people are like that, but some
But I-
people
but I
really
think
do
of, like-
hope that they're going to be in this it girl's position someday. You don't think so? Like,
I think that's part of the delusion
Yes.
though. Is like everybody thinks that they can like. I mean, think
that.
about
Yeah.
how many influencers we have now, and like
Yeah.
how
Everyone
many
wants a
people,
piece of it.
Everyone wants a piece of the like fame pie. Andy Warhol might have been right. Like, but that
did he
15
say?
minutes of fame. Like, there's certain things where it's like, what are we aspiring to here? Like, what about this person's life is actually aspirational? For real. Like.
but people
some
aren't
of-
ready for that conversation.
No, I know, and I think sometimes to me it's like, the downfall of our moral society. Like,
No, it's true.
It's
Completely
kind of
true.
a little bit of that in me of like, what about this person is like, why do you look up to these people? That's why I think like with the Kardashians, I think they've kind of moved past their like. I don't know, but people aspire to be like the Kardashians. I'm like, what about this
The
lifestyle
reason
other
I
than being
think
rich?
is
other than being rich?
because I think I'm pretty sure it was somewhat intentional, but the way that they're dressed when they're not filming or whatever, and where they do kind of like this, not like model off-duty look, but like the tracksuits and jumpsuits and whatever, and how they
Athleisure, like,
exactly.
all I wear.
So that's the part where it was relatable to people, where they're like, wow, there's all these like millionaires with like big butts and great bodies. No, I'm being so serious.
No, it's true. They
And-
literally like started a whole thing.
And like the average girl will see that and go like, okay, athleisure is attainable, like big butt, somewhat attainable, I guess. Like I'm being so serious.
No, with
And-
Surge, but
Right, and
BBL.
then
Yeah.
even the
BBL
reality
daddies.
shows, I think, like I didn't watch the reality show, so I don't know much about it, but I think people would see like the Kardashian family like fighting and arguing, and they would see like their own families in that. Like truly.
Well, reality shows to me are the most like
manufactured
attainability. Like it's kind of like, to me, like popular reality shows are kind of like the it girl of entertainment world. It's like you love to hate it. Like you love to hate them. Like it's
Do you
like,
watch reality shows, Garrett?
Not really. Sometimes I did have a moment in college where I actually watched the Kardashians.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was like to escape my own drama.
Yeah.
A little bit. Like there's a lot of like my own personal drama, and so I was like, you know what? I don't need my own drama now. I need someone else to just be dramatic. But I stopped watching it because I got so bored, and it's just so uninteresting. Like,
Yeah.
Other than that, I've never been a reality star.
Have a weird relationship with reality TV because, like, I will, like I've always been like, oh, I'm too good for this, right? But then I'll watch some, like, because something about it, it's like eating McDonald's.
Yeah, it's good here.
Yeah, it's like junk food for the mind.
Yeah, it really
Exactly.
is. And it's just like, oh my God, my brain feels smooth, like smooth brain. Like it's
chicken breast brain.
Yeah, it's like nice in a way. And I also think a big part of it is social. Like I think with the Kardashians specifically, like it slots very well into like the archetypes. Like, oh, are you a Chloe or are you a Courtney?
Yeah.
Or are you a Kim?
That's so intentional too.
And like,
I will say with them, like,
it's making it more of a product. Like, and I think that
Yeah.
that's what people identify with. Is maybe those roles.
and I think that they came in at a time where like reality TV wasn't, one, it wasn't that big, two, it wasn't that like controversial, I guess, and it was a very like female-led show, which like wasn't as much of a thing. Like
I think they shaped like a lot of culture now, and like how people prioritize,
and not to mention all of their like little side hustles.
I think the Kardashians have they play a big role in why we're like that.
Oh, do you guys know The Simple Life with Paris?
I love The Simple Life.
I've never watched it
because
episode. I've seen every single episode. I know they're acting, which makes it even better in many ways, but I'm obsessed. They have so many one-liners, and they're the funniest girls ever. Those are A girls for sure.
I think that one needs to do a comparative literature study between The Simple Life and Keeping Up with the Kardashians, because Keeping Up with the Kardashians could not exist without it. And it's funny because like the premise of The Simple Life is it's like, oh, these two silly rich girls living on the ranch, like ha ha ha, like whatever, and it's cute because they're funny, they get into some shit. And then Keeping Up with the Kardashians is actually like in a way like a reverse of that, in that it's sort of like glamorizing this LA towered lifestyle of these like, I mean, it wasn't always as glamorous as it is, but it kind of turns that on its head, because reality TV used to be these like weird scenario things like wife swap or The Simple Life, like it's a gimmick. Oh my God.
Also, our mics are about to
Sister
die.
Wives too. Like
your mic is about to die?
All of them are.
No. Well, we gotta wrap up because it's at 2 hours and who's gonna.
Oh, my mic is dead. I don't know how long it's been like that.
Let me get over here now. I think my mic is the only one that's on.
Okay, everyone.
Our mics are done.
Sign off.
We are done. The Kardashians over.
Everyone is canceled. Go home.
Mama, your mic levels are crazy. It was in the red.
All right. Thank you for listening, everyone. That has been our show for today. Signing off.
Bye.
Bye.